Sheffield Wednesday 5-minute view from the Cop. Next to last match of the season, last away game of the season, against a team who, like us, were already relegated by the time that we played them. A team that contained Will Volks, obviously former fan favourite, and I always say that teams are down there for a reason, and you would expect. It's really been really strange this season. You think about all the players that have gone, the injuries that we've had, long list of injuries, but nobody wants to play, do they? When a team's not doing very well, nobody wants to be having as part of their CV that they've been part of a team that have lost the most games of any club, any professional club in this country, I suppose. I don't know what the world record is. Are we going for it? I did wonder whether this was maybe an opportunity. We're playing two teams down there at the end. I mean, Coventry we did so well against, and it makes you wonder whether in this situation the players are going at things a little bit half-heartedly. The fans were amazing again, singing all the way through. But the fans are going to give them a bit of a lift. They're going to get that initial lift when they start the game, although it was very one-sided in the first half, and we conceded very, very quickly to a goal. It was almost like a Thierry Henry style goal. The ball came into the striker and he flicked it with his alternate foot, and I don't really think you can blame Charles for that at all, really. And the second goal was a good strike from outside the area. So I think that there's not really a lot that we can say about that. We often shoot ourselves in the foot, but they were well on top in that first half, and I think it. But you've got to say, if a team's going to be down there for a reason, like Oxford are down there for a reason, then suddenly, I don't know, last game at home, maybe you think back to, were it 7-2 or something like that, were it Burnley years ago when the pressure had gone off us, maybe the pressure's gone off them. The pressure's been off us all year, other than the records and trying to get to 0 points, which is very unlikely to happen. You never know. You never know. Last game at home for us, maybe. Sell-out crowd, hopefully. So, yeah, I think that we seem to be missing. I think we're missing Ingleson, although the midfield of Chalobah and Eskies, they've done well. I think Eskies come along leaps and bounds as a player. I like to see him pushing forward. I think he gives us a bit of bite. Chalobah is obviously a talented individual. If he'd have kept his self injury free, then I think he would have gone on. He wouldn't have been playing for us. But at the back we missed Otegbayo, and it just shows you really how far he's come along. That we go high offer in the middle, and Palmer and Lowe either side, and I think that they all struggled massively, and they just looked a little bit flat-footed. Really, I thought they just really seemed to be. I don't know. It's just like it's inevitable. It's inevitable that we're going to lose. We conceded those 2 goals. So at the back, we were looking poor. Like I say, in midfield we seemed okay, but down the sides, Adamola does give us something going forward. and he does get stuck in. But I just wonder sometimes, and I see him running back, and he just doesn't seem to necessarily have the speed that he seems to have going forward. I think his reverse gear is slower. But and again, he has brought something to the side, but it really didn't go very well yesterday. Second half, I thought we maybe they took the foot off a little bit, but we seemed to push on a little bit, and maybe the game was opening up because they got another 2 goals. But we another benefit. Again, changing things a little bit earlier. We brought on Grainger in the 66th minute for Charlie McNeil, and again, Charlie McNeil is I think, was it at 2-0? I think we were involved in a goal which ended up getting disallowed. I'm not really sure why. I think they were claiming a foul or something like that. But I'm not really sure. I could see it. Maybe that might have changed things a little bit. That if we'd have gone in 2-1, maybe, I don't know. Volks. Grainger came on for Charlie McNeil, and then pretty much soon after, and not really responsible for it, but Volks scored. And again, with that, I think that the defenders, there were plenty around. They just seemed to be very flat-footed, staring and not really closing down very quickly. It was a good goal again. But yeah, Grainger scored after that, fairly soon after that, and he'd not been on for long, for about 6 minutes. And he seemed to be, again, making a menace of himself. I thought, when I first saw him, he looked like somebody who got a bit of character, not just a kid that was scoring goals in the youth. So it's nice to see that he's had a couple of extended stretches, and actually he ended up doing really well, because he had a few shots. He got stuck in, got himself into some really good positions. We have players that get themselves in good positions, but they're just not getting the service. But you feel like he's a striker that wants to not just score, but he really wants to get involved, and he ultimately wants to score. And it sounds a bit daft, but some strikers, we've had so many strikers over time that just don't focus on putting the ball in the net. They focus on getting themselves into supporting positions, do a lot of running around, a lot of pulling other people out of position or whatever. He's a striker, not a forward, and you could see he really wants to get those goals. But again, the Pat Harris goal afterwards, their final one, again showed defence very, very flat-footed, and you just wonder whether they've just really given up in that sense, or certainly yesterday. And we brought, again, 77 minutes, give them a little bit of time, Kabachi and Thornton on, and they raised the game. So you're talking about fairly young players that are showing the sort of way forward for the club, and we've got so much potential. We've got so much potential in the team, with perhaps just a few more players, that we could pull ourselves out of whatever situation we find ourselves in. So could you say, are we a decent championship side? Well, we're not far off being a decent championship side, I think, really, given, would you replace the goalkeeper? Absolutely not. The defence, yes, and maybe have Otsubayo in there, or as a backup. Don't know, Max Lowe's struggled a little bit since coming back in. Midfield needs some support, and certainly up front and on the wings. Yes, we definitely need something. I mean, we're not where we were with Gassama and Masaba, but yeah. So I think are we currently, as we are with all players fit, would we make a decent League One team? And I think we would. I think if you're thinking about the options we've got with the youth, with such as Ernie Weaver, such as George Brown, and as Fanti Ingleson, and maybe a Barry Bannon, we would be a decent Championship team. Decent League One team. Some people will expect that we're going to challenge for the title and an immediate return next year. They actually do think that. I would just like to get us sorted out. I'd like to get the ground sorted out. I'd like to get the training sorted out, the structure of the team, director of football, all those kind of things, proper scouting network, everything sorted out within the constraints that we're going to find ourselves in, and then we see where we go from there. We obviously got to just write this season off, but we've got to look at the positives, and the positives are the youth coming in and actually, like I said, showing us the way forward. And I think they've done really well, and let's hope that the fans continue in the vein that they've done this season. Let's hope that the new owner, Storch, hopefully can get round the Chancery issue and take us forward, look after the fans, and then the fans next season hit the ground running like they have been this season, and we get as good, if not better, support coming forward. So we've just got one match left at home, and let's really give it some, really go for it, and hopefully we can get ourselves those 3 points and finish on 0. I mean, that'd be quite a good end to the season. So let's see how we go on. Until then, bye for now, and up the Owls.